Now on to the third part of this series about doubling your e-commerce profits. This time we're going to talk about analyzing your way to e-commerce profitability. One of the most common sayings I keep on repeating out of the pirate skills world is treasure often lies one step deeper in the funnel. But how will you know if you don't have proper analytics setups? The first thing I usually do is I start to improve my conversion tracking. This is an example. For example, I anonymized it a little bit and changed the numbers from a real e-commerce store on Facebook analytics. Here you can see how many people were on your website, what the revenue was, what the average shopping cart is, how active they are on which time of the day, what products are being sold, which campaigns they came from. It's very powerful what we can do, but what we need to do is install our conversion tracking properly. So let me give you just a list of things and tools that I think in e-commerce, they're just mandatory to track. Track your visitors, everybody on your website, separated by days. 1 day, 3 days, 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, 90 days, 180 days, 540 days where possible. So tracking those visitors separated by time frames gives you the ability to do nice and engaging retargeting campaigns. On day 1, they see that. Day 2 to 3, they see something else. On day 4 to 7, they see something else again. That is not as boring as just keep on being tracked by the same ad. Then what you want to do is track people who have visited your product view, because there is already so much difference in quality of traffic between people who just landed on your website somewhere, let's say on an article, and people who actually made it to a product detail page. Then next step is add to cart, initiate a checkout, how many purchases. You should be able to figure out what the cost per purchase is and how much value you made per purchase in terms of revenue. And then you want to be able to calculate the ROAS, the return of advertising spend. That is how much value you got out of your costs. Yeah, so value divided by costs. Usually expressed like in percentages. Yeah, so a ROAS of 200% means you put in €1, you get 2 out. Fun game. The tools with which you measure that are Google Analytics for everything, for baseline tracking for every channel, but especially if you do anything in the Google Ads world. Then you want Facebook Analytics if you do anything in the Facebook and Instagram world, which you should definitely be doing. And then your shop analytics. The problem with Google and Facebook is that people can decide not to consent to being tracked. And your shop knows the truth because it informs the invoicing and the payment and the bookkeeping. The bookkeeping is even truer, but they are way too slow to give you proper reports. So your shop analytics, I treat it as my source of truth. And I try to make Google and Facebook analytics like 80% close to this truth. This is the baseline. Of course, you can have a shit ton of fun with all of other tracking suits, but this is a very good start. And you need to get those tracking pixels running on your page. And in order to do that, we go to our growth marketing strategy number 8, to now really own that topic of cookie consent and manage it well. Here you can see an example from Body IP Nutrition that they have a big in-your-face cookie consent banner that is in the middle of the page that most people will engage with. And they can either decide that they want to consent to or not. And depending on their decision, gladly most people say, yes, I consent. We get to track people and to learn and to stop bugging people who have already bought the product, and we can stop the advertising for a while. Managing consent actively is important. Why? Why is it important in growth marketing? Lost pixels are lost retargeting audiences and lost optimizations for the machine learning algorithms. So most platforms like Google, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, they all like to get fed conversion events. You give them $50 per day, send it on a campaign, and if they don't get 50 responses in terms of like conversions add to carts purchases per week. Really hard for them to optimize their algorithms to be picky and pick the best users for you. That's a huge lost opportunity. That means you need more budget per campaign. Of course, it's still possible, even with 50% consent, but it's more expensive for you and you can learn slower, which is a competitive disadvantage, which you don't want. And do not even try subtle opt-ins to cookie consent, like the sweet little banner on the bottom or the header. People will simply ignore it and not give you consent. You could just not do it as well. You might feel worse about it, but it will not change anything in terms of your tracking campaigns and your analytics. It needs to be in your face. I hope that was clear. And you have to understand that sooner or later, you and we will have to deal with this. So it's much better to be proactive about it and to start learning what creates a high cookie consent opt-in rate. Yeah, this is an actual thing now. This is a conversion rate optimization topic at a later point. But own it, do it well, keep on trying new plugins. Shopify is moving a lot in that section. With WooCommerce and WordPress, you have the excellent choice of Ball Apps cookie. And I hope you have some other suggestions for stores like Shopware, which is John Lennis on, and some other ones. So if you have good recommendations for excellent cookie consent management, please leave them in the comments. I would be personally very interested. The last out of this part of the series. Number 9. Better reporting means faster learning. This is an example from Google Analytics screenshot where you can see by source and medium of the campaign how the people are engaging with your online shop, and if they're bouncing, if they're watching, if they're visiting the site properly, and how their e-commerce conversion rate is. Google CPC stands for Google Ads, and we got a couple of thousand people there, and they have a 6% conversion rate. People from direct to none, which are not tracked, which just with the website, who are already familiar with the brand, have of course a better opt-in rate. But what is really worse in comparison to Google Ads is the Facebook conversion rate. Thank God the clicks are cheaper, so you can see the difference. Not only like, oh yeah, I spent $1,000 and I made 5K. That is completely, yeah, if that happens to you, good luck. But it usually not start there. You need to see, oh, this channel is working. And not only this channel, you need to understand it based on the campaign, the ad set, the ads. So what would I recommend to you? How to create better reporting. Do not be content with just clicking cost per clicks and click-through rate numbers in your advertising suite. That is not 2020, and that is not growth marketing. The only thing that is more important than tracking ROAS is profits, at least for us bootstrap startups. Profits all trump everything. You can have a bad ROAS as long as it's profitable. You can still say, yeah, but at least I got some free reach. But ROAS, having a healthy ROAS turns you into a more sustainable business. But more profits at the end of the day gives you more opportunity to reorder more products, to reach a broader audience, to hire more people that support you, and to deliver a better customer experience. You need to be able to track those guys. Yeah, profits can be approximated, but ROAS should be done on a source, medium, campaign, target audience, ad creative level. You should be able to tell what the ROAS difference between men and women are, young and old, people who see this video versus that image. And that is all being done for you by most of the ads manager that you use every day, like Facebook ads. The whole Facebook Business Manager suite is excellent at this. Google Ads, Google Analytics, Pinterest, they all do it for you. Take time and do that. That concludes our third area. We now discussed like analyzing e-commerce profits, and now that we're able to analyze, we're able to increase the number of paid traffic sources, yeah, and we are able to increase the budgets because we're not afraid that we're just losing our chips. Yeah, we can see what's happening and we can do something about it.